I'm here at St. John's around the beautiful, beautiful old font, which has been here in this sanctuary for many, many decades. And the reason I chose to be here, I could have been at Farnham with that beautiful, small little font there. I could have been there, but it's kind of special to be here because we have just relocated this font. We have moved it from one space to another to really give it its own place, its own space, because the idea of a font, the idea of baptism, is so critical to us as Christians. It was back in Jesus' day. It was in Paul's and the disciples' day as they baptized new Christians along the way. Now, this font is great big and it can hold a lot of water. The font at Farnham is small and holds a smaller amount, but you know, it doesn't matter the amount of water, the volume of water that is held. It matters what happens, the idea behind what happens when we are baptized with that water. When that water is blessed, is consecrated, is sanctified, as we remember all the times of water highlighted in the Bible. And when it is put on our forehead, some places you get dunked. Here we do it in our tradition by sprinkling some water on the forehead and then adding holy oil to seal that person with the Spirit. Washed with water, sealed with the Spirit. And the idea of this font being relocated and placed in a new space now sort of came to mind to me as good for reflection, because we're in a different space now, aren't we? It's like we have been relocated. But it's also a time that I suggest we remember our baptism. Whatever tradition you grew up in, whether you were baptized as a baby, as a toddler, as a teenager, as an adult, the idea is in baptism that we are brought forth, that we become a consecrated, a washed clean, a sealed with the Spirit member of a community, the community of the faithful, of that congregation in which you were baptized. And as a member of that community, that we are strengthened. There is a strengthening and a supporting and a binding together by the Spirit of us together to live in, to give us courage, to give us strength in living to the vows we make at baptism or are made on our behalf. And really, we can go through all the vows, whatever tradition you were baptized in, and look at them, but it boils down to this: the courage, the strength within community to love one another as Jesus loved us. To love one another as Jesus loved us, both within that community and then strengthened by the community to go out and love those God puts in our path. In our tradition, the Episcopal, a couple of the key vows are that we will love one another, that we will love one another in community, and that we will respect the dignity of all people. That we will love in a way that enables the community to flourish. And at this time, in the middle of this pandemic, when we are isolated from one another, we can't necessarily gather. It is critical that we remember that baptism, remember that water. Maybe as we wash our hands so often, we take a moment and just go like this and remember our baptism. I remember Bishop Lee, when he would baptize, would always take the water and throw it out into the congregation and say, remember your baptism. So remember yours. Remember the strength that is brought to you in the community of the faithful, the strength and the courage to then go out and love not only one another that you know, but those that we don't, respecting the dignity, respecting the health and welfare of all May it be so. Amen.